against the wall. But you are a strong person, so baby keep moving on. Don't let nobody stop you, honey. So look up your plans and just stand tall. You will stay.
Hello everyone, I hope you all are having a good Wednesday. My name is Lavender. I'm your virtual life coach here at LAVI Program, LLC. In today's video, we'll be discussing creating and maintaining an effective routine. Sometimes it's a struggle to try to get a routine together, but it is a benefit if you can get a routine together that works for you and your complex life. So let's go ahead, let's get into the video, and I hope you all enjoy. All right, so what is a routine? A routine is described as a habit or sequence that rarely varies, so it's habitual. Something routine isn't unusual, but is rather occurring all the time, such as eating, bathing, sleeping, etc. A routine is performed as part of a regular procedure rather than for a special reason, such as like a monthly fire drill. Routines can differentiate depending on the setting, those involved, time of day, and personal obligations and responsibilities. Someone may have a routine of how they tend to their children throughout the day, which may differ between each child depending on their age and their individual needs. Someone may have a routine that they must follow at work to demonstrate effective work performance when performing their work duties. Others may have a routine for skincare, hair care, cleaning, and other tasks as well. So some of my own personal routine. I will say I do have a nighttime skincare routine because I don't know why at 39, almost 39 in June. But I don't understand why even at this ripe age, I still get breakouts. So, there are a lot of different things that could potentially account for that. But yeah, I definitely have a skincare routine. Hair care routine, definitely do. It takes me a minute to do my hair. And of course, when it comes to like cleaning my house, doing chores, I have a routine when it comes to that. I also am someone who has obsessive compulsive disorder. So when it comes to certain things being organized or doing things a specific type of way or repetitively, well, that's OCD. That's what comes with that. So yes, I definitely have an embedded form of a routine when it comes to multiple aspects of my life. All right, so the next portion talks about creating an effective routine. So it may feel a little overwhelming when trying to construct a routine that works for our complex lives. However, to use a routine can help to better organize our lives, reduce burnout, increase muscle memory, and establish self-discipline because it's something that you're doing repetitively. It'll become instinctive rather than something you really have to think about because it's something that's consistent. So these are some steps to potentially creating an effective routine that can work for you in your complex life as an individual. So step 1, identify recurring tasks that require your attention daily. So think about stuff that you normally do day in and day out. These are things that are already habitual for you, things that you don't have to think about. Stuff that comes to mind could be like your personal hygiene routine. If you have children, maybe your morning routine or your nighttime routine or some day throughout the day schedule that they have. Just writing down and identifying those specific things that already take up your time day in and day out, regardless of what day in the week. Step 2, identify scheduled and planned events for the week. So this would be stuff like, do I have doctor's appointments this week? Do my children have doctor's appointments this week? Does my dog have a vet appointment? Is there, a play date that's scheduled this week? Is someone's birthday party? Do I have a work event? Writing those things down so you know either what comes within that week. And you can also do this in a monthly manner as well, just so that way you can kind of get your month straight and set when it comes to your routine for that 30-day period, or 31 or 28, depending upon the month. All right, so step number 3, separate your day using 3 categories. So the 3 categories that I tend to work with my clients would be morning, afternoon, and night. Now, of course, we have a 4th category that exists, and that's evening. But when I say morning, afternoon, and night, morning would be more so, of course, your early morning hours. Your afternoon, of course, would be anywhere between maybe 12 and 5. Usually that's when someone would say evening. But then, you know, I would say more so night because you're kind of winding down for the day. You probably have gotten off work. Your kids are home from school. Maybe they've done homework already. Chores are being done. Meals are being, you know, set up and prepared. So by setting these 3 different categories for morning, afternoon, and night, it kind of reduces what may appear to be a major overload if you add in that 4th category of evening, because then it's like, you know, my day is so compacted. But for some of us, it really is. But that can be overwhelming even just to look at that. Trust me, y'all don't want to see my calendar. And it's color-coded. So it's like the whole Crayola box has just been spewed all over my calendar that I use on my phone. All right, y'all. So step number 4. Identify what needs to occur during which categorical time period. So you can also use specific time blocks like a planner to complete this step. So if you have things that you know you want to get done at a specific time, or if you have things that have to get done at a specific time, you can definitely use like time blocks, like what you would see in a weekly planner. But if you don't want to do something like that, you could use something like a dry erase board that has, or even a poster board. You know, you can go to Dollar Tree and get a poster board for 50 cents and some colorful markers for $1.25, since ain't nothing $1 no more at the Dollar Tree. But, you know, you can create your own little sectionals that has morning, afternoon, and night, and just, you know, writing down those things that you know that are going to be consistent or things that are coming up. But this is a recommendation. In the blank spots, if you use the time slot method, plan out time for like self-care, personal enjoyment, or rejuvenation. Because even though our lives can be very demanding, we still have to take time for ourselves. If you don't even pencil in time for yourself, then, you know, when it becomes a point that you get burnout, it's like when you can't even now maintain the things that you were already taking care of because your body has had a shutdown period. So trust me, if you don't learn to sit down, life will sit you down. And I promise you, it's probably going to be at the most inconvenient time in your life. And then so step number 5, it's simple. Follow through with the plan. You know, you wrote it down, you scheduled everything out, you're looking at exactly what you need to do, now follow through. It's just like following a GPS. You know, we know the destination because we've plotted it out, which is basically that's our GPS route that we've planned out. We know exactly what steps, what left and what right we're going to take, you know, and how long something might be occurring, such as I'm going to drive a mile before I get to the next left turn. Well, in this scenario, you're going to be, I don't know, maybe in an office meeting for an hour and a half before now you're traveling to go to your next thing that you have to do. But having those step by step so that you can maintain consistency. The more that you practice it, you build consistency. I don't like when people say practice makes perfect, because perfection is an illusion. It does not exist. However, practice does make consistency, and consistency makes new habits and new behaviors. So the more you revise something, change it, and make it more consistent through practice and initiation and intention, then it will become habitual, maybe even ritualistic for you, because it's something that is now instinctive. That's that muscle memory that I was talking about ahead of time. All right, so next thing we're going to talk about is preparing for interferences and setbacks. Because again, nothing is perfect. We need to at least identify what are some limitations and challenges that we might have. Because if we don't, when you do have that type of experience and you're not prepared for it, you're not equipped with tools to be able to address that, well, then your whole routine, the structure of it can just literally be a tower moment for you. If you do tarot, you know what a tower card is. But all towers aren't bad, but it does mean that new work is going to have to be done. So if that's not something you want to indirectly put yourself into, then we have to be vigilant as well as honest about different type of limitations or challenges that we may run into so that we can address them accordingly along the way and disrupt any type of major or significant mishap that might give us that tower moment that we don't want, because we're trying to build something. We're not trying to tear it down. All right, so no matter how much we may put the effort into it, we can't plan for everything. Unexpected events and occurrences may happen, which may disrupt someone's routine, aside from how concrete it may be. Some things to account for might be falling ill, inconveniencing one's ability to physically fulfill some or all of their routine for the day or the week. Perhaps you're preparing to leave for work and an issue with your car happens. This may interfere with your usual commute to work. So you might do things like get dropped off by someone, or share a ride like a Uber or a Lyft. You might even get a taxi. Yes, y'all, they still exist out there. Some people might opt for public transportation or taking a bike if they have it. But it says, or even your attendance altogether, depending on the severity of your issue. So, not falling ill, leaving for work early and having an issue with your car, that could potentially, now you got to plan something else. You have to sit back and think of what other options are available to me. How can I redirect myself and get back on the same path to what I was trying to do initially? When unexpected incidents occur that may disrupt our routine, it is recommended that you identify the level of severity with tasks within your routine and address them in order of priority level. For example, if you're out of work due to illness, there may be other tasks or obligations that can be addressed to avoid a major setback with other stuff that require our attention. So one, also be honest about your limitations and personal challenges, and plan out effective ways to redirect your focus back onto the routine, which is what I just said. And sometimes our personal limitations or challenges could be someone who is easily distracted or has short spurts of energy, where like you might get the spur energy. Okay, now I want to, clean up the closet or pack away things from a recent holiday of decorations that I've had out. And then you start, and after 10 minutes, it's like, dang, I ain't got the energy to do this no more. I'm so overwhelmed, I'm tired, maybe other things are going on. So by acknowledging your limits and your limitations and your challenges, perhaps you could be someone who could set up in between your routine where you're taking breaks, you're penciling that time in to take breaks to address the self-care that you need to continue on with the obligation or the task that is your responsibility or your obligation to get done. It requires your attention. So, even if life hits you with some type of unexpectancy that disrupts your routine, think about other things that you can still do, even within that time. Because even if you get sick from work, and you have to stay home from work, you can still have other things that, require your attention that you're doing, whether it's minor housework, maybe it's some phone calls you need to return on, maybe it's some, work you have to do on the internet, something with your computer or your laptop, just still making sure you're checking things off that you can still do, rather than allowing that unexpected event to, put you in a moment where you're sulking and now nothing's getting done. It's like complete lack of self-activation. You're still getting something done. It might just not be at the same speed. So that way you're still accomplishing things. And that can actually build confidence and esteem moving forward. All right, y'all. Well, it was a little shorter today, but that was our video for today. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. I will say videos for LAVI Program LLC will be posted every Wednesday at 5 p.m. and Saturdays at 10 a.m. Saturdays are for our self-reflection Saturdays, where shadow work is presented and recommended for self-growth and enhancement. And again, that information is going to always, be free on here. If you would like a more personable session with me, the information to schedule a virtual appointment with me is detailed in the description below. There's also a link to a description of service details, just in case you guys might have some specific questions or maybe a breakdown of certain things dealing with the company that you may want to review. That link is also listed in the description. If you're unsure of how life coaching services can help you, my booking website, it offers the option for scheduling a consultation to further discuss how I can be of assistance to you. And it's only a 30-minute consultation. However, with that, you can discuss things that you would like to see, expectations moving forward, and just kind of decide, do I want to actually schedule a session with Lavender, or do I want to go somewhere else? That's your human right to do that. However, I am open and available to helping those who are willing, ready, and open to help themselves. And if I'm someone that you find you could be able to build that rapport with, and maybe let's get that work done, well, then I'm ready. So, all right, y'all. I look forward to our next video. And don't forget, the next video will be our self-reflection Saturday. So take a moment to check that out, too, when it comes out. It'll be Saturday, 10 a.m. All right, y'all. Have a good one. let's get to work. Bye.